Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I'm answering questions about OCD recovery that you left under my Ask a Question about OCD Recovery video. So the first question is, Hi Ali, by doing ERP, I almost overcame the real serious themes, harm OCD. But since 2 weeks ago, I'm having more and more thoughts and they are all kinds of themes. And I can say that I got caught almost by every theme, even though I didn't have any of them before. They're spinning into my head and are more like annoying, and when I can't stop them, I'm getting frightened that something's wrong with me. What to do? Is this normal? So, okay, first of all, this is a normal situation. What is happening is your brain was used to one theme, you overcame that theme, and now it's trying every possible theme to get you into a reaction. So, look at it as the brain is pulling all the stops to get you back into fear, but you cannot fall for it, because if you start to fall for those new themes will grow, and they will become your one of them can easily become your main theme. So you just really have to watch and make sure that it doesn't happen. Just refuse, and you can see how fast they switch. But if you start to feed into any one of them, I'm telling you, it's going to get worse from here. So just choose to refuse, and really stay strong with that choice. Um, Next question is, I don't accept strangers on Instagram, but at the same time, I want to grow my personal account because I want to grow my YouTube channel. But I am scared of guys slash people because I have anxiety from men, because I was grown up by my mom with her beliefs. Thinking of accepting guys slash people gives me anxiety. Would ERP be to resist the anxiety and accept people? Um, with social media, it's tricky. So I think just being on Instagram, and people follow each other on Instagram all the time, so it doesn't. I don't think there's anything wrong with following each other on Instagram, but I would say stay away from direct messages. And that would be at the same time. Doing the exposure but also being safe online. So it's kind of, with some of these things, you need to kind of find the balance between the two, so that's what I would suggest. Next question is, I obsess with music and artists, but most of the time, that's not the genres and stuff that I'd really like. It's just that I listen to the same song singers over and over until I get very tired. I notice that when I don't have earphones, I don't do this at all. Should I throw my earphones and not buy new ones ever again? Um, no, just allow yourself to do whatever you want to do. You want to listen to this person, listen to this person. If you want to listen to something over and over again, listen to something over and over again. A lot of people do that. If you like a song and it just gets stuck and you just want to keep listening to it, that's okay. In terms of um, it's not the stuff that you really like, it's not the genre that you really like. Again, I think you're overthinking it more than this is actually an issue. If you feel like I have to listen to it, right? Like it's like a pull, like, no, I have to listen to the song one more time, or I have to listen a certain number of times, then that's a different OCD issue. Still an OCD issue, but just a different OCD theme. But if you just worry that, why am I listening to it? Then listen to it because you want to listen to it. You know, it doesn't have to be a certain way, it doesn't have to be perfect. Next question is, hi Ali. This one thought came and it was like, what if all these are not real and you are a really bad person and denying recovery since I'm not going to a professional therapist? Please help me deal with this. So, I mean, you just have to look at it as you're doing exposure work. It's throwing you a curveball, but what if, and you just have to disregard it, because, well, I mean, you can go to a professional therapist, and then what's gonna happen? Then you're gonna have to. It will tell you, well, this guy or this girl didn't know much about it. Now I have to go to another one who is more specialized, and it will just keep going and going. You know. So you just have to push through. It's like whatever it's telling me, it's OCD. I'm disregarding. Next question is, I have two questions. I hope you can help me with both, please. First one is, I keep getting thoughts like, what if it will make me believe I did some bad things? Or what if OCD will make me believe it was my fault when something bad happened? I keep disregarding, but the thoughts keep switching. So basically, your fear is that what if OCD makes you believe something or will in some way that's negative, right? Like that's your fault. So just like, okay, whatever. Anytime I'm getting this thought, I'm disregarding. That has to be your attitude. Just whatevering it. Yeah, okay, still try to throw me the thought, you know? And then nope, choosing to disregard and keeping going this way. Next question or second part of it is I feel like I have a constant anxiety because I'm scared of what thoughts my mind will give me next. So again, don't be afraid of the thoughts that your mind will give you. It will give you thoughts on autopilot, and you don't need to think about it. You don't need to take them seriously. You just say, oh well, mine can send me whatever thoughts. Who cares? You know. So you're not afraid of them because they're all a lie. So no matter how real they will seem, come on, OCD, bring on the thoughts. I can handle it. I'm going to choose to disregard. That has to be your attitude. Same for the next question. Hi, Ali. How can I deal with hyperawareness and false imagery of my facial expressions? It's very difficult to deal with in social situations. Not sure if I'm doing the ERP right by wanting the negative outcome to be true. No, don't do that. Instead, just whatever my face is doing, my face is doing. Yeah, maybe so. If your fear is like maybe others will look at me weird, maybe this and that. Yeah, maybe others will look at me weird, maybe whatever. Don't care. Moving on. And continue to talk as you normally would talk. You might be a little bit kind of like, um, it might feel a little bit awkward. You might be like stuttering a little bit just because you're still trying to process the OCD. Either way, you're still processing, right? Even if you're disregarding. So it might seem like you're a little bit off in terms of conversation, but who cares? Just look at it. Who cares? People who really like you for you, they won't care. And people who don't, then who cares what they think anyway. So just do social stuff as you normally would and let your face do whatever it's doing. And we're just leaving it. We're not trying to um, uh, do anything that's either for OCD or against OCD. We're just whatevering it. Because anytime you're putting effort into it, it's not really a good thing because it's almost like you are scared and you're resisting because you're scared in a sense. Next question is, hi Ali, I have repeating names. Once you recover from OCD, does the anxiety go away as well? Because at times I get anxious without the thoughts, and then the thoughts come in. Is this just the way OCD works? Yes, this is just the way OCD works. And as you are doing response prevention, you will see that the anxiety starts to go down and over time diminish entirely. So it's just a matter of practice, a matter of just for this kind of OCD, whenever you're uh, I'm not understanding really fully if, like, in terms of repeating names, do you feel like you have to repeat names, or are they repeating in your mind and you feel like you want them to stop but you can't? Either way, you're not. So, if you are repeating names, you have to say no, I'm not repeating. But if you are having them kind of play in your mind without having control over them, then you just let them play in your mind and you're just like, whatever, then be in my mind. If I can't make you go away, then it's going to be in my mind. And so what? Zero effort towards it. So you're not feeding it energy. Next question is, hi Ali, do you need positive thinking to recover from OCD? All I do is just ignore all the OCD thoughts and focus on sense perceptions and try not to think at all except when I have to during the day. Um, I would say positive thinking is important in OCD recovery. The other thing that's important also is just to have more going on in your day, because if you're in a situation where over time OCD has destroyed everything, then it's very difficult to kind of get back into hobbies, into just things you like to do. And it's important to fill your life with things as if you were already recovered, because that's what you need to show your brain that everything is fine. So that's, you know, having looking okay, looking good throughout the day, not just kind of like in like pajamas type of thing, right? So you look good, you look like there's nothing going on, you're behaving as if nothing is going on, and that kind of sends the signal that no, everything is fine. And it helps the process of recovery because you're sending those signals rather than if you're sending a signal that there's something wrong. So positive thinking, yes, but it's kind of like talking the talk and walking the walk, that you have to have positive thinking and show that in action in how your day is going, regardless of how you feel. So it's kind of like putting on a show for OCD, basically, to show your brain that everything is okay. Next question is about feeling guilt and shame about OCD, creating imaginary images. Um, Anytime you're getting these thoughts, again, they're OCD. Don't OCD can come in as images, as thoughts, as feelings, as urges. It's all the same thing. Choose to disregard, choose to push forward. You can't look at these things as something important. It really isn't, and it's a trap. The more you think, oh, how can I be thinking this? How can I have this image come into my mind? That's the fuel that keeps OCD going, because your brain is saying, oh, are you afraid? Are you feeling ashamed? Are you scared? Okay, I'm going to send you more just to make sure you're protected, because you're reacting to it in a way as if you need to have a resolution, you need to have protection. But it's nonsense thoughts. You don't need resolution, you don't need to have protection, you don't need to feel guilty or ashamed. They're just blah 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 thoughts on certain themes. So you have to look at them that way, and then over time the brain on autopilot will start to look at them that way. If you look at them as this is important, your brain is looking at them as this is important. So it's just following your lead. The autopilot is following your lead. So you have to say, it doesn't matter, I don't care anymore. And then it will stop sending you the scary images, the guilt, the shame, all of it. Next question is, hi Ali, how do you do ERP for false memory OCD? I'm feeling good, but when I'm having a setback, it's always the false memory OCD thought. This theme of OCD is the one that started my severe OCD. Now I feel even better. I need to do something about the false memory OCD. So whenever you have a thought of what if something happened in the past, and it has, first of all, whenever it's what if something happened in the past, already it's OCD. So, and to kind of give you more to go on, then that also, if the thought follows your usual type of theme, say, for example, if you have harm OCD connected to false memory, or religious OCD connected to false memory, whatever it is, could be sexual OCD connected to false memory, it could be contamination, whatever it is. If it's your usual pattern, disregard. If it's some new thought, but it kind of seems like the other thoughts, still disregard. And it can come with anxiety, without anxiety, as images very often, not always, but often. So however it comes in, right away, no, this is just another way to get me into OCD. I'm not reacting. Next question is, how can I stop feeling angry about having OCD? So feeling angry in itself is not a bad thing if you're channeling it correctly. So you have to say, I'm sick of OCD. I'm angry. I even have this, I'm in this situation. And from now on, I'm doing recovery work. That's good projection of anger. So project your anger into action of doing recovery work. If you're projecting your anger into just, being angry at other people, like going off on people, punching walls, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not productive. You need to channel it into productivity, meaning ERP. And ERP is disregarding the thoughts, disregarding whatever scary OCD thing the brain is telling you. Next question is forcing yourself to do the fear thing the right way to overcome avoidance. Oftentimes, if I don't force myself, I tend to procrastinate and push it to the next day. Yes, as long as it's within obviously normal parameters. So if other people are doing it, but you are avoiding it because of OCD, then you need to every day push yourself, every single day, no matter what. Next question is, Hi, Ali. How do you ignore terrible intrusive thoughts that are blasphemous and against God that occur while doing the obligatory religious duty? I try to ignore but fail every time. No matter how hard I try, I cannot ignore. Well, you have to ignore because it's always the same thing. So it's like if a magician was doing a magic trick and you fall for it one time and you fall for it two times and you fall for it 100 million times when it comes to OCD. So at some point you have to say it's the same trick. I'm not doing it. God knows that you have OCD, right? That's the whole thing. That God is all knowing. God knows that you have OCD. The God knows that these thoughts have nothing to do with you, that they're just around you. God knows that you have no control over these thoughts. So try to look at it from that perspective, and whatever you overhear as these thoughts, or these phrases or whatever, however it comes in, it's just you overhearing something, as if like a tape recorder or a tape player is playing. You know, I'm really kind of dating myself here, but but okay, I don't know. Netflix is on, so in the background saying things, and so what? And we're disregarding. Whatever is on in the background, it's like a TV station. Doesn't matter. We're just moving forward, and we're doing whatever you're doing. You're praying. You keep praying. And whatever is coming up, whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, images, emotions, doesn't matter. We're moving right past it. And before you start your prayer, kind of put yourself in that zone. Maybe listen to this one more time, right? That it's this is OCD. I'm going to get hit with some other new thought or with the same thoughts that are pretty much the same theme. And when I do, when it tells me horrible, horrible things, I will look at it as this is background noise and I'm disregarding. Next question is video games and OCD. I notice when I play for hours, my mind kind of loses the focus to the thoughts. But when I come off the video games, my mind is then back to reality in a way. Well, I think when you are feeling bad, it's a good distraction, but it can't become a crutch and an avoidance mechanism. So, say for example, if you are at 10 out of 10, okay, you can play video games to kind of sidetrack. But if you are at 8 out of 10, that's exposure, right? 8 out of 10 exposure, you're refusing reaction. When it's 10 out of 10, okay, maybe that's a little bit too difficult, right? Well, not a little bit, but it's too difficult. But you need to push through most of the time. Next question is, thank you for your great work. Well, I try my not great work, but I try my best. Recently, I am so afraid of death, cancer. All day long, I'm thinking only about it. Please help me. Is this OCD? It's very common, OCD. Yes, it is OCD. It's very common. And whenever these thoughts pop into your mind, you can't engage in taking them seriously and analyzing. You can't look up stuff on the internet, statistics, symptoms, all of this stuff. It's off limits. So you feel your brain is going in this direction, and you basically say to yourself, no, 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 I can't go in this direction because I'm going to start analyzing. So I need to push myself into something else. I'm moving on to another thought, and just keep doing that. You will see it will hit a peak where you will feel like, I absolutely have to think about it. You hold, you refuse, and you will see that it's not like it's going to go away in the moment, but it will come down from, say, like it was an 8, you refused, it hit a 10, it feels like your knees are going to buckle, you need to give in to reassurance behaviors, but you do not. And then you will see that after about, maybe half hour, an hour of this, it will drop. I find that a lot of, not all the time, but a lot of the times, it's almost a very kind of a fast drop that it's like, oh, I was just feeling really bad and now it's not so bad anymore. You actually notice it. But it's hard for me to judge because I experienced this from my own perspective. So, and based on what clients tell me, it seems like it's the same, but I think there could be variation with that. So if you don't feel that, that doesn't really mean anything. But you should be feeling a little bit of a drop after you refuse to kind of a manageable level. Next question is, I'm depressed constantly. I feel I can't do anything because my OCD is always making me hesitate to do things. So it's making you hesitate. You choose to do things anyway. I had sensory motor OCD, and now I'm afraid that things will get stuck in my head, like literally everything. For example, when I think about talking to someone, a thought will come up and say, "What if you develop an obsession?" Or when I want to enjoy the day, the thought comes up and says, "What if you develop an obsession about it? It's ruining my life. I can't do anything naturally out of fear of developing an obsession. It's making me suicidal, desperate for an answer." It's also not an irrational fear because it's quite possible for me to develop an obsession. I can't seem to live life normally again. Okay, so look at it this way. It's possible for anybody to develop an obsession with anything. So from that, you need to push through. So anybody can develop an obsession. I'm not buying it. I'm not living my life in these kind of can't do this, can't do that, can develop an obsession with this, can't. No, I'm doing this. Let's see if I develop an obsession. You cannot obsess over everything. So you do this, develop an obsession? No? Okay, now add that. Still no obsession? Or are you obsessing about both things? Okay, now add 10 more things OCD told you not to do. Are you obsessing about those as well? Push against it, because the more you give in to OCD, the smaller your world becomes. So, yep, I'm just about to get obsessed, OCD. Let's see what you got. Okay, yeah. Oh, and you have with this type of OCD, you have to do a lot of exposure, because if you just do one exposure and then see how you feel, am I obsessed or am I not obsessed? You're checking. That's still reassurance. So you have to do all of it. Like do one, then another, then another. Throughout the day, just keep doing things. And with that volume, you will overpower OCD. And if it at one point feels like you're getting obsessed over one specific thing, you're getting stuck on one specific thing, again, that's just OCD making you feel like that. So you run scared. Choose not to run scared. And another part to this is also when I experience emotions, my OCD will tell me that if I get stuck on emotions, that I will get stuck on emotions. I just have a fear of getting stuck on things. Okay, so I will get stuck on things. I will get stuck on emotions. I will get stuck on obsessing over a certain thing. Oh well, choosing to disregard. You will see. You're not going to be wrong in disregarding. You just have to make that brave choice and refuse until OCD calms down. And it might take a while. And again, it's training your brain. So when you're training your brain, you have to make sure that you're doing the right things more than you're doing the wrong things. Or at least working towards that. So maybe not right away, but every day you're doing more than the previous day. And eventually you'll get over that 50% hump. Next question is how any OCD patients deals with the past and confusing and non-understanding past. Like I suffer from relationship. Okay, so you're talking about relationship OCD. So instead of solving things over and over again, at some point you have to say, you know what? I believe I've solved enough. I am choosing to move on. And then we'll bring up something else. Nope, still choosing to move on. Bring up something else, still choosing to move on. And the more you go forward, try to make this kind of how you handle any thought that has to deal with the past. And over time, you will see that this will become your new way of operating because the past is in the past. Next question is, hi Ali, I have another question. I'm in recovery now and the thoughts are switching like crazy and my brain's trying to dig something in the past, again in the past, and digging why OCD has started. And maybe it started because I'm a bad person. Like, how do I deal with it? And why is it like this? This is just how OCD goes. It's trying to grab onto something, anything to get you into a reaction. And your job is not to let it grab onto anything and not let it get a reaction out of you. So always refocus. Sometimes in the beginning, it might feel like, how can I refocus when I have this scary thought? Well, just refocus. Just refocus. Start doing something like real life things. And you will see that the anxiety is actually dropping as you are refusing to engage. if it's really, really bad with the bureau, with the thoughts, actually track how much time each hour you're thinking about your OCD themes. And it doesn't matter which theme you're thinking about, how much time generally you're devoting to OCD, and try to refuse. Try to make every hour better than the previous hour. Even if it's just by a few minutes, you will see it has effect overall. That's all the questions for today. I will come back with more questions tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I do daily videos about all things related to OCD recovery. If you would like to do one-on-one recovery program with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. You can sign up from there. Please make sure that when you are signing up, you are booking all of your sessions or most of your sessions. So then we have the spots available for you at your times. And you will see the times as well in your time zone. So it's all kind of converted for you now. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow.